Well, welcome to a video extra for the Healthy Alabama podcast. I'm David Person. It's the holiday season, and of course, that makes many of us think about food. And when I think about good vegan food, the first person I think about is my big sister, Donna Green Goodman, who is the vegan chef extraordinaire in North Alabama. How you doing,
I'm
sis?
good, David. I'm good.
Got this apron on for a reason.
Getting ready to cook now.
Yeah, getting ready to cook, though really we know I'm just a prop. You're really going to be doing the work. So let's see what you got here. We got, we're gonna make a cake here.
We're going to make a vegan pound cake. I'm using my favorite brand of flour, which is King Arthur's flour.
Okay.
The next thing that I'm going to add is some sugar. And I like to use what used to be called evaporated cane juice, but now it's just a more natural sugar. So we're putting 2 cups of sugar in here. So after I put the sugar in, then I'm just going to add salt, and that's something that everybody uses, of course. I teach people that are across the spectrum, and people want to know, am I always using organic, this and everything? I recommend it. If I can afford it, I will get it. But because I teach people who can afford somebody to harvest it for them, and people who can't afford it, I tell them to always buy the best that they can afford.
Sure.
So we did a teaspoon of salt, and then we've got baking powder. Baking powder is one of those things that makes food rise, and there are a number of these on the market that are available. I choose to use the featherweight baking powder because it is aluminum free, and aluminum, of course, we know causes brain damage, and it is also free of baking soda. What I tell people when I make this recipe is it's just like making cornbread, literally. All we're going to do is stir up the dry ingredients, and then I'm going to mix the wet ingredients in the blender, pour them in this bowl, put this in here, and we're going to bake it in the oven. That's as hard as it gets. We're going to add milk. I use soy milk, and we call for 1.5 cups of that. And I put that in the blender because you're literally just doing wet to dry. That's 1 cup. This is 1/2 cup.
And I noticed that this is the Simple Truth brand. That's
Yes.
Kroger, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
We've
and-
fallen in love with everything that they have. Simple Truth is vegan.
Yeah. Yeah, also organic and non-GMO.
Non-GMO.
Yeah.
They have coconut milk, almond milk. Absolutely good. Always on sale. Then usually you put in 1 pound of butter, and this recipe calls for 1 cup of oil. So 1 pound of butter would be 2 cups. So we have cut the oil in half. And I used to use canola. A lot of folk have concerns about canola. And so recently what I've started using is olive oil, not the cold pressed one, but the one that is a blend of olive oils that's lighter so that you don't get the heavy flavoring of the olive. And this works just beautifully, and it browns beautifully, and it tastes delicious. And so that's what we use in here. So we're going to add 1 cup of oil, and that will replace any of the butter that you would normally use. Then what we're going to do is add tofu. This is what replaces the eggs, and each of the recipe calls for 1/2 container of silken tofu, and this is a brand that I like to use, the Morinu. The silken tofu has a texture of cream cheese, and your traditional tofu is more like a cottage cheese. So if you want something smooth, you want to use the silken tofu. And then we're going to add our flavorings, and I have decided to make lemon. So we're going to put 1 tablespoon of lemon flavoring in, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla flavoring. Okay, so we're going to turn this on, and I literally have my favorite machine, which is the Vitamix. Pour it inside of the bowl.
Okay, just straight pour?
Just straight
Okay,
pour.
Here, let me pour it from this
That way?
side so that you can
Okay.
have room to do what you need to do.
And literally, this is just like making cornbread, literally. So what I do is I stir it, and it's going to look like a cornbread batter. And then I'm going to add some lemon juice to it, which is a citrus. And the citrus will neutralize it. And I can remember growing up helping my mom, and before I got old enough to help her, when she would make cake, everybody loved to eat the cake batter. And so as you can see, this looks more like cornmeal or cornbread.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I put in the lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and of course when I was teaching those students, well, Miss Goodman, we don't have no lemon juice, so we're going to add orange juice to ours. And they did, and they got the same effect,
Okay.
which is to neutralize it and thin it out.
But you're using lemon juice.
Fresh lemon juice is what we do. I will buy a bag of fresh lemons and then we just juice them, and I have access to fresh lemon juice for any other ingredients or recipes that I'm working on. And do you see it starting to smooth out now?
Mm-hmm.
Now, once about a few weeks ago, I made a cake, and it was a lemon pound cake. And I thought, you know, when you go into the grocery store and buy cakes, or if you use the Betty Crocker cake mix, a lot of the stuff is colored. And of course, it's using artificial colors in it. And I don't want to use those. So what I did was to take some turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory, and I added it to the pound cake recipe, and it turned it yellow. But you could not tell that it was turmeric.
That's what I was just going to ask.
You could not taste it. You could not taste it at all.
Okay.
All right, so that's our mix. And then we're going to pour it in here.
You know, I actually bought some turmeric potato chips or chips. I was really surprised, and they were pretty good.
And turmeric is a major ingredient in mustard. So you're familiar with the flavor. The thing is, you have to be careful when you're cooking with it because it is so strong in flavor. And it'll be overwhelming to you if you're not careful with it.
It's supposed to be really good for men for something. I'm trying to remember.
It's anti-inflammatory for everything.
For everything. Okay.
Everything. There were some studies done at MD Anderson Cancer Center out in Texas. And I actually sat under the guy who did the research. Every single disease that he put turmeric on improved tremendously.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and that's it. And then we'll put this in an oven and bake it.
It smells good.
Doesn't it smell good?
Yeah.
Bake it at 350 for about 50 minutes until it's done. Now, what we have here is a cake that's already prepared. And what I want to do is cut a slice so that our viewers can see that. And this is just a glaze that I put on top of it. Typically, I will make a icing like this, and you can see the texture. It looks like traditional old cake. And a lot of times people are concerned about how they're going to make the icing. All I did was to take some confectioner's sugar and put lemon juice in it, or pineapple juice if I'm making something pineapple-y, or just regular non-dairy milk, to get it to the part like it's a glaze, and then just pour it over it. And if a person has run out of confectioner's sugar, but they still have regular sugar in the house, they can take a cup of the regular sugar, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, put it in their blender, blend it till fine, and they have confectioner's sugar. So you don't have to go out and buy extra.
We're going to sample this today.
Yeah.
So again, lifestyletherapeutics.com is Donna's website. And we need to make sure people know how to spell therapeutics.
Yes, THERAPEUTIX.com. You can also find us on YouTube, where we're demonstrating a bunch of other plant-based recipes and talking about healthy living, but it's spelled with an X.
Okay. So this has been a special presentation for the Healthy Alabama podcast. David Person, Donna Green Goodman, my big sister, absolutely an amazing vegan chef. I have not had one thing that you've ever made that wasn't delicious.
That's what people say, Donna. Do you mess anything up? I'm like, yeah, ask my husband and my son. They're like, take that back. And my husband would get to the place where he wouldn't say anything. He'd just leave it on the plate. And I'm like, okay, that's a no. That's a no.
Back there laughing.
Yeah, that's a no. And then I would go back in the kitchen. And when we first got married, he had some biscuit recipe that some patient of his had, and he came home talking about how good theirs was and how mine wasn't. Well, he had biscuits for like the next 6 weeks until I got it where he said, okay, these are amazing. Yeah, so you're tasting it after they've thrown it back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
For sure.
Awesome. So this has been great. Thank you for this. And we're going to enjoy sampling this cake. What is your name again? Say your name one more time. Tercel.
Yes.
Because I messed up and forgot your name. I'm 55 years old, man. I'm lucky to remember where I'm supposed to be in 5 minutes. Tercel will get actually the first slice. You want to try it? Yeah, come on, try it, man. Come on, try it. Try it.
Can you get a fork right there? Yeah. Let's see what it tastes like too.
See what Tercel thinks of this. You know, what I have found dealing with Donna is that a lot of people that are not vegan will eat her stuff and then be stunned when they discover that, oh, this is vegan.
They're still running, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still running. We got to get Tercel on here. We got to get his reaction.
Yeah.
What you think, Tercel?
Okay.
You can work with that? Okay.
Yeah.
Get back to work. Take the plate and get back to work. Very good, Tercel. I knew he would. I thought he would be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he'd be
Yeah.
a convert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So again, thank you. Special edition of the Healthy Alabama podcast, an extra for video as well as for audio. David Person, Donna Green Goodman. Her website is lifestyletherapeutics.com, and my website is davidpersonmedia.com. And of course, the Healthy Alabama podcast is produced in partnership with WJOU, the Oakwood University radio station on the beautiful Oakwood University campus. And we produce it, or I should say it is sponsored by, I can't forget my sponsor. My
Right.
sponsor is Enroll Alabama, which is a project of AIDS Alabama, a great organization that is on the front lines of trying to help prevent the spread of HIV and AIDS in our state. And they also do other great things. AIDS Alabama. All right, that's it. Until next time, be healthy.